In today's video, I'll be talking about dating apps, specifically the negative aspects of dating apps. In a previous video, I discussed the positive aspects, and as we know, we have to look at the positive and negative to make a good, educated decision and to know exactly what we're getting into. And that's where we're going to deep dive today to really look at some of those aspects that might not be so positive so we know and we're prepared. I want to give one disclaimer though. The negative aspects of dating sites and being on a dating app is basically the same as dating in general. So these negative aspects that I'm going to talk about, you could actually deal with if you were organically meeting someone as well. So let's talk about that. The first thing that I want to discuss, and this is appropriate for dating apps as well as organically dating, is that you're going to come into contact with people that haven't done the work. They haven't done the personal work. They haven't put in the effort. They haven't really done the deep dive to understand childhood traumas and other issues in their lives, so they're bringing that to the table. They might not have even dealt with their previous divorce or previous relationships. So you're dealing with people that have either dealt with it or not dealt with their stuff. And so a lot of times you might meet people that are sudden red flags, and that's good that you can catch that before you actually physically meet them. But understand, you're going to come into contact with many people that haven't done the work just because of the sheer numbers of people that are on the social media, but the sheer numbers of people who are actually on dating apps. Another aspect that's negative is that you're going to come into contact with people who are honestly lying and fibbing about who they are, their past, their situation, their title, all that stuff. So you're going to deal with people that are probably lying to you about some of their information. The same as if you met somebody organically, out at a bar, out at a restaurant. You might deal with someone that's not being honest with you. Now, I know that there's also another aspect in the dating apps where people will put up pictures that are much older, that might have been 15 years older. And so definitely, organically, that's not going to be a problem. But on dating apps, that's a specific problem. And you'll have to weed through that on your own. But at the same point in time, we have to just remember there's going to be some people that are presenting false information or dated information, and we need to be ready for that. Another negative aspect is that you may receive inappropriate messages from people, including naked pictures, right? It's gonna happen. People do that kind of stuff. I mean, even on social media, people will post porn and all kinds of stuff and inappropriate things. So it will happen. Even if you met somebody organically, they might send you a text message that's completely inappropriate. However, this is something we have to deal with on dating apps. And so what we can do is easily trash those messages and not deal with them and move on and say good riddance. But we know that we might be getting some inappropriate messages and not to get too overwhelmed if we receive those. Another thing that we want to realize too is that when we're reaching out and we're connecting with people on dating apps, we might meet somebody that won't stop reaching out, someone that's constant contact, messaging too much. And again, we need to think about boundaries, right? We need to have boundaries in these situations. So if somebody's kind of making us feel overwhelmed or stressed out, stepping back, or hey, letting them know that we need to take a step back, or this is moving too fast, is very appropriate. That's a very appropriate stance, because the last thing we want to feel is fear or stress about not responding. And also, if somebody is pushing us to rush into something, we need to be able to step back and take our time. And if they're not willing to take their time, they're definitely not the right person for us. Another negative aspect of dating apps is that you might get ghosted just as you began to think that things were working or going well. And this is the same for organically meeting somebody. They could ghost you at any time as well. But we also have to be prepared for that. And by being prepared for that, that means that we have to be prepared for people that are not emotionally solid. As far as they would rather ghost you than tell you the truth. They would rather ghost you than create boundaries. Or they'd rather ghost than even talking about anything. And so there's going to be people out there that are not maybe as mentally strong as you or emotionally as strong as you or can't have the deep conversations. So being able to see it from that perspective and realizing if somebody's ghosting you, well, I guess you got rid of them now instead of waiting till later to have that happen to you when you spend a lot more time and a lot more energy on the relationship. Another aspect is that when you're messaging someone on dating apps, they might not respond promptly or they might not respond at all. And so being able to allow that time to pass without feeling as though they're ghosting you. Also, if they don't respond at all, not seeing that as not taking that personally, because I think a lot of times if somebody doesn't respond, we take it personally. It must not like me, then it must not be interested in me, and that might be the case, but why do we want to bark up that tree? If somebody isn't interested or they don't even have the ability to respond, do we need to put a lot of our energy into that, or do we want to just move on? And I think that in life, there's a lot of people that are not going to respond promptly, and we have to allow that to be and then decide, what do we prefer? What do we not prefer? Does it bother us? Does it not bother us? And if they don't respond at all, it wasn't meant to be. And it's hard, but at the same time, it's not about us. It's about their choice and moving on and finding someone that we get along with and also have things in common with us. And the last but not least on this particular video is some of these people that we come into contact are going to have a different lifestyle than we have. And we have to just kind of accept that reality. And we don't have to change our lifestyle. The greatest part about dating sites is there's a lot of people on there. There's a lot of people seeking relationships. And there's people that like different things and have different lifestyles across the board. And so there's a lot of people out there is what I'm saying. So just because somebody has a different lifestyle doesn't mean that we have to mesh or make that work. We can actually go and find someone that actually has a lifestyle that's similar to ours that we can actually work together and it's appropriate. Because I think a lot of times in life, we just accept things for what they are and we don't really think about what is it that we really want in our life and what level are we going to in our life? What are we trying to work for? What are we trying to strive to have and to be in our life? And so we're wanting to hold ourselves up to a higher level. We're wanting to hold ourselves up to a higher standard. We probably need to, if we're being consciously aware of what we want in our life, we probably need to hold other people up to a similar standard as well. And so, not just dealing with what's being given, but actually agree, is this proper for my life and is this proper for my lifestyle? And if so, move forward. This content was not designed to scare you at all. In reality, it's there to give you the information you may need to be aware of, maybe on your toes, to know possibilities. We always want to go into a situation knowing the pros and cons. We want to know what we may deal with or what we might not deal with, but we want to be able to be aware of possibilities. There was a previous video that we recorded on the positive aspects of dating sites, so you might want to check that out too. We'll put the link in the description below. And in the process, remember, the negative aspects that I've talked about in today's video are not just about dating sites, really. I mean, some of them specifically about the pictures and what have you, but really it can be, negative aspects of dating. And so we have to realize that we're going to have positive and negative aspects. We're going to have positive and negative experiences, but we want to try not to get down on ourselves or down on the situation. We want to keep moving forward, knowing in our heart and knowing in our mind that we are going to meet somebody that we definitely connect with. There's so many options out there, and we have the ability to connect with somebody that has the same things that we like, has the same values we have, and being able to connect our lives together will be powerful. In the meantime, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and give us a like on this video if you've liked it. And in the comment section below, let me know, is there any other negative aspects of dating apps that I didn't mention today? Because we definitely want to get all the information out. Because if we're going to jump in and we're going to get on a dating app, we want to know what are possibles, and we also just want to be prepared. I hope this video is connected with you. Share it with family and friends or anybody that's going out there that's newly single. And in the meantime, don't forget to live your true life.